Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I am Mark, your host, and I've got a triple play for you today. 3 films that I got the chance to watch thanks to Gravitas Ventures. The first one is a documentary called Stronger by Stress, and it is a look at non-conventional methodologies to, they say, biohack yourself to make you faster, healthier, sleep better, all of this really cool stuff, all of this holistic stuff. And it covers everything from nutrition to cold therapy, if you're into cold therapy. And it does kind of a deep dive into how subjecting your body and your mind to certain stressors, physical and emotional, and intellectual stresses, how we often consider stress to be a purely negative phenomenon, but in fact, done properly, you can actually use that to change the way your body works and the way your mind works. And so just like, doing push-ups or sit-ups, you can build, just straight normal muscle mass, or run a lot and work up your cardio. What these various stressors can do is do a more overall attack on how your body works and on how your mind works. And it's just, it's kind of interesting. A lot of times, I'll be honest, I felt like almost like I was watching like the weirdest infomercial ever, being that they kept going back to these different nutritional things, but they weren't really, they weren't pushing a product, or these different experiences. So it almost felt like a tourism infomercial, but they weren't put, you know what I mean? It's just, there's no way to look at a topic like this and not maybe kind of feel like you're being sold something. But what you're being sold, in effect, is this set of lifestyle changes. And the best thing about this documentary is the fact that they're like, this isn't, if you do A, B, C, D, E, all of this will happen. This will be like, if you have this, there are ways that you can mitigate this or improve this. And these are some of the kinds of techniques that can be used to facilitate that change. So it like I said, it kind of felt like an infomercial, but it's more info than commercial. So it is some of it, parts of it, if you're of a certain age, you'll feel like it's very new agey, self-helpy, and it is self-helpy, and part of it does kind of feel new agey. But I think taken in total, if you look at all of it, there's a lot of really kind of cool information that you might have brushed up against at some point, but never really considered. But these people, we have experts in, biosciences and neurosciences and nutrition and this is and that's and the others, who all do these kind of things, and you see the things that they do, not just the things that they ingest or don't ingest or whatever. It's just a really kind of interesting way to look at the whole person, if you will, when you're talking about yourself and human beings in general. So, like I said, it's from Gravitas Ventures, and it's available on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, just go to YouTube. Stronger by Stress, directed by Andrzej Matsukevich. Slaughter that name. Yeah, it's just something a little different, to kind of throw your brain into for an hour and a half or so. It's an interesting watch. So I would, go ahead and tell you to go ahead and check that out. All right, let's move on to a kind of a horror thrillery movie called The Institute. Now, written and directed by Hamza Zaman. It stars Ignacio Matinha, Hamza Zaman, Victoria Brandart. And what it is about this couple who are unable to have a baby because something happened in a previous pregnancy and there was medical procedures done, and she is not capable of conceiving or carrying a child, really. He's very supportive of her efforts and the things that they do, and they look at this in vitro and all of the conventional methodologies to try to conceive and have a child. And just as they're about to give up, he finds the Lands Institute, where this Dr. Lands, Lands, is cutting edge medical research. And he says he can most certainly help them conceive a baby. So they go and they move in to this commune type building, where it's them and two other couples trying to have babies. And there are all these tests and these protein shake, or I won't say protein shakes, there's these drinks and things, but it's a very odd environment in which they find themselves, because everybody at this institute becomes incredibly horny, and there is sex all the time. The couples are having sex. If you get a little too party, you go out into the forest and there's some group sex going on. There are all these weird medical tests that are done by the doctor. There's this machine that the women have to stand in, and it scans them and it does certain things, and there are stem cell injections, and it's just, it's going bad. Anytime you have doctors dealing with fertility in a movie, something bad is going to happen. And the guys have to do all this weird crap too, because it's a whole, it's a couple's approach to try to create a life. It takes two people. Now, by the time we get to the end of this, you kind of figure out what is going on. The overall flow of the film is pretty good, all things considered. Now they juiced it up with the sex, because that's a selling point. Sex sells. But the general thrust, pun not intended, of the story is actually pretty good. It makes sense going through. He has doubts. She was kind of waffling going in, but now she's totally convinced that this guy can help, and she is bound and determined she is going to have a baby, and it's going to happen, but it has to happen here. There's conflict kind of with the other couples. It's just pretty good. Now, there is a weird thing about this film. I noticed it early on, or I thought I noticed it, and then it became a little more noticeable as I went through. And what it is that a lot of the scenes are shot on green screen. So like everything that's in the medical lab, all the backdrops are CG, or green screened in, because it's clearly composited with the people. So it's a little unnerving. It's more noticeable at different times, so it kind of jarred me a little bit at certain spots. Now, you get to the end, and as I said, you figure out that something is going not right. Something is not on the up and up as we go. Now, we get to the end. There's a couple of little developments that I kind of wish we'd have explored more, and the last scene takes this film in a direction that I don't know if it needed that kind of twist, but it kind of changes the motivation or background of Dr. Lands a little bit, in terms of what he's trying to accomplish by helping to get all these babies born. So again, the very last scene, I kind of wish they'd have cut off. But if you watch it, let me know if you agree. You'll know the scene. It's literally the last scene. So yeah, but no, overall, it could have been terrible. It could have been completely just cliche ridden, and but you know, it checks the boxes it's supposed to check. The doctor is really creepy, but helpful and lovable at the same time. Very strange. So I would tell you to check it out. It is actually out as of yesterday, streaming. So it's called The Institute, and there have been a lot of films with that title. So make sure you get the 2022 version of the film. Yeah, and check it out. Okay, so the last one we're going to do. This is called, and it also released yesterday on March 22nd. And it is called Win a Trip to Browntown. And what it is about a guy who's married, has a couple kids, and he's a frustrated writer. He works at an IT segment at a local college while he is trying to write and get published. He's in his 40s. And him and his wife celebrate their 20th anniversary. He's feeling a little down because he's trying to craft a pitch to pitch his book to these publishers at this big event that's coming up. And they're talking, him and his wife are in the bedroom one night, and they're talking, and he's feeling depressed, and she suggests, maybe you could lose a little weight, because every conversation eventually winds up at that point, and they get on that topic, and he kind of agrees that he could probably stand to lose a couple pounds, and they get on, well, how much did you weigh when you were married, and what would it take for you to get to that weight? And he goes, well, probably 50 pounds to get back to the weight he was at when they were married. She goes, there's no way you could do that. And he goes, I could totally do that. And in a fit of wifely exuberance, she goes, yeah.
If you lost that much weight, I'd let you put your in my.
Her words. She goes, I'll let you stick your dick in my ass. And he's like, record scratch, mic drop. And he's like, done. So he has 3 months to get ready for Pitch Fest and to lose 50 pounds and win a trip to Browntown. Now, that makes it sound like this whole movie is just like American Pie for 40-year-olds. And I guess it kind of is. But actually, because they've got kids and the kids are everywhere and whatnot, it actually plays, oddly enough, like a family sitcom, as opposed to this kind of fairly raunchy rom-com between these two. And his friends find out about it. Her friends find out about the bet, even though they're trying to keep it secret. And, her reputation becomes one thing. She starts it. Somehow, this movie manages to overcome the line, I'll let you stick your dick in my ass, and become a pretty humorous family film. Not for your little kids, though. Yes, all of the requisite butt sex innuendos and euphemisms are used throughout the film. There's a trip to a sex shop by his wife and her friends who have issues of their own. And you see, personal growth in each of them during this time. You see stresses on a marriage at this time. It's just, this should not work. But here we are. And I'm going to tell you to watch a film with the title Win a Trip to Browntown. Crazy, right? There we are. It's crazy. Written and directed by George Tramuntanis, who also stars. There are many, many disclaimers at the front of the film, at the end of the film, where he informs us that his wife wants to make it completely clear that this film is in no way based on their relationship. Not even a little bit. None. Zero, zip, nada. He's very emphatic about that. It just freaking works. And I don't know why, but it does. So thank you to Gravitas Ventures and the folks over at October Coast and Karen Oberman PR for getting me these 3 films and letting me watch them. I basically enjoyed all of them. I love when I get movies that I like. Way better than one that I watched the other day, which I did not. But so Stronger by Stress on YouTube, The Institute, and Win a Trip to Browntown streaming. Shouldn't be hard to find. Go check them out. They're all already available. So until next time, don't forget to like us. Follow us on social media at VS Movie Podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube, click subscribe. That would be helpful as all get out. Twitter followership is really important. So if you follow us over there, that would be great. That would really help us out for future stuff. So till we get back with more, and I have to tell you, Ryan and I will be back with more food. We have 4 films in the next 8 days that we will be watching and having to review for you. And they are the big ones. They are Fantastic Beasts 3. They are Morbius. Yeah, the big ones. They're here. And we're going to be covering for you. So take it easy. Stay safe. Do all that jazz that I just told you to do. And we'll talk to everyone later. Bye-bye.